You got
Senna's
it.
off the table. Thank God. Good start.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I have a number for that, by the way. 25,887 was the amount of damage that he did, and that was twice the amount that any of the members of Bay State College had overall. So good adaptation for Bay State College. Good read, being able to say, you know what, let's not let Instinct have Senna once again, because it definitely plays against how Bay State want to be able to. Because if they're going to go for a weak side, bot side again, Senna is definitely one of the few AD carries that can benefit from not having any jungle interaction. But Seraphine was left on the table, Covey!
Seraphine was let through. That triple flex on blue side is going to be pretty good.
No.
I will say, I think that letting or banning Senna is really important for the side of Bay State, just given the fact that if they want to play sides and play towards Quas, having Senna TK, I mean, it just pretty much means that you cannot play sides. You will always be outnumbered. So I think that's a really important ban. That said, Seraphine doesn't want to play sides. She wants to group up, team fight, utilize all that AoE buff that she gives to her team, all the AoE CC she brings to the table as well. So already possibly a different look coming out from 100 Thieves here.
Well, Bay State College currently trying to figure out what they want to play into against Ariana Grande on the other side of the map here, as Zaya, one of the Poseidons, coming in. Do we just see the instant lovers duo locked in? We do, from Invictrix and Potato.
Okay, so it does open up the door for some potential counters, as we have Udyr, the stat check coming on in for Goo. I like this pairing with the Seraphine, and also Rel, a champion that has been very, very powerful so far. Newly hitting the Rift, really good in the teams that have to engage into you, and really good in the melees. So I think this puts a lot of pressure on Serenox and Quas to potentially take range, stick with this disengaged theme that we already see over on the side of Bay State.
I wonder if Bay State actually will start playing towards Invectrix and Potato in this match. I know they haven't really been explicit on which side of the maps they play towards, but so far coming, I mean, we have a lot of early game power just because of the Lowers duo as a combination, and we have DMK busting out the Jarvan. I know it's been getting some flavor love over in LEC earlier this morning, but, you know, in a meta that is running rampant with Udyr and Hecarim, champions that are just going to outpace the Jarvan incredibly fast, it's up to DMK to really get the snowball rolling early on.
It does get outpaced, but the one thing that it does bring to the table is terrain, which can be really powerful for both engaged and disengaged comps, especially into a champion like Seraphine. Not to mention the fact that you can still buffer the charm or the root with the EQ as well, and your ultimate too. So I don't hate the Jarvan pick coming on here. Is it going to get outpaced by Udyr? Can it get double crabbed? Absolutely, that is a risk, but it does bring a lot of things to team fights, especially when you combine it with a champion like Rakan. So I like that secondary engage, as you might be questioning that Alawi ban, but you could always have the question what Quas' champion pool actually is. So
come on, man. I was a Frostfire stan last Scouting Ground circuit with him, Kitsuo, and High-Key Savage. I mean, that Alawi is another Quas signature, and with already 100 Thieves next, starting to draft a lot of relatively short-range champions, potentially more melees, that is something where Alawi could have thrived, right? So them being able to ban it away is a great response. And this is interesting. They're actually giving counterpick priority over to Quas instead of Serenok, and they just lock in the victor right now.
Honestly, this is really setting up for what might be a Camille from Bay State if they they did ban out the Renekton, and I think 100 Thieves, oh man, they want to take something into that victor. It's gonna be the Seraphine bot for Instinct. Yone mid for Young. We've seen him play it. One of the things I always credit Young for is he looks good on nearly every archetype of mid lane, right? He's pretty good at mages, he's pretty good at supportive champions like Karma Galio TF, and he's also real damn good on melee assassins. So we're going to have to see how good he can look on this Yone today.
You know, I talked to Instinct about a couple of weeks ago in preparation for another match, as we see the Aatrox being blinded here by Cozy in the top lane. Instinct definitely is able and will play the Seraphine. He doesn't enjoy it. He has a lot more fun playing things like the Senna and the Aphelios, but this is something that he has been practicing a lot with the team and ensuring that, you know what, 100 Thieves next, working with Fallen Bandit can be a versatile team, despite, you know, being a relatively young and inexperienced team, but they've put in so much hours in being able to open up themselves and being able to play different styles and compositions. Now, what is the counterpick from Quas here? As
they could put Victor top. I know we haven't seen it yet. That was the old counter to Aatrox that was figured out in Season 8. The Iceborne Gauntlet Victor, yeah. That could get real wacky, as it's not going to be the case. It's going to be Malphite instead. I like that. It's triple AD topside. So, I mean, Malphite just kind of going into that. That's not going to be bad at all for the side of Bay State. As Rafa, why are you giving up the peace sign?
Well, this is actually meant for 2 words.
Okay.
Wombo combo. Bay State. That's it.
All right. They're going to try and blow up the Seraphine, right? That's the mission of Bay State's comp. And then also, they do have some good disengage tools as well. Victor, a lot of slows. Zaya's really good in the comps that come into you, which is pretty good against the Aatrox and the Yone. For 100 Thieves next, I think they still want to set up that 1-3-1, right? If you get Victor in a side lane, it's going to be really easy for them to try and attack that pick with things like the Udyr paired up with the Aatrox Yone. So, want to see if 100 Thieves can get ahead early, try and set that one up, utilizing the tempo of Udyr, or we see some of these big wombos coming in, and oh, Rafa. You don't like the Ignite?
No. Oh my god. I had this fear that
Rafa, you're going to have to tilt that chair back about 8 degrees. Yeah.
This, like, I know Quas has been doing this thing where he's not running Flash as a summoner spell, and for, like, Nasus, yeah, Ghost TP, it slaps, but, I mean, without Flash on Malphite, like, Unstoppable Force is a great ultimate by itself, but, man, like, Flash just makes engages even much more reliable and much more powerful, so that's why I'm just... I don't know.
It looks like we're getting Busio riding out on Rel in our lower third. I'm more interested in that.
Yeah, what is going on here? Are we getting like a POV camera here? What I'm
starting to get dizzy. All right, maybe that's back. Yeah, starting to get a little bit dizzy there.
I hope our audience doesn't suffer from car sickness or seek sickness.
Yeah,
would have definitely been.
Busio, I actually like this from him. So he dropped an early ward in lane, and they're going to try and take lane priority here. He also swapped out to the sweeper, so they're going to be trying to set it up for some of those ganks. I also really want to look out for this Yone, because if this pick does get ahead, it is terrifying. It can snowball a game really quickly, and I've credited Young for his play on champions like this in the past. I want to see if he can really pull through, as he is the most veteran member of this roster, sitting at the young age of 19.
And something else to note was that there was an early ward placed by Bay State College over on red buff, so DMK knows that Gu has started over on the top side of the map, or at least, you know, definitely not the red buff. So, I don't know what goes on through DMK's mind if he wants to, like, go through weird jungle pathing scenarios, but just, you know, the way that Udyr wants to play, he knows that DMK should be showing up on the bottom side of the jungle in about 20 seconds, which gives DMK an opportunity to maybe look on the top side of the map for some ganks.
Yeah, also, you can also see that ward being dropped by Young right after the waves crash, just to prevent that level 2 gank from coming in. That Jarvan, Falcon Drag can be rather deadly in the early game, so making sure that he isn't at threat as he is getting shoved in by this Victor. That's a nice ward, too, from Serenok. So they are doing a good job of tracking Goose so far, and maybe that gives DMK a little bit more information to work with to try and make something happen early.
DMK now on his red buff as we see the Ferromancy from Busio trying to lock down the Lovers duo bottom lane. Invictrix taking a lot of damage already on the backside. Ignite came out, but Potato and Invictrix being able to trade some auto attacks onto Busio in the exchange. Summoner spell burned from Busio, trying to fight for some lane control as Gu could potentially start going into the bottom side jungle with some vision control once he finishes these Krugs. And should definitely be able to get the crab, but man, you're right, Cubby. Young, he knows that DMK is potentially here, as DMK is just waiting for this crab to spawn, potentially looking for an opportunity mid lane, but Young not giving any room for any opportunity. Yeah,
that was actually really nice from Young, just knowing which pocket he should be sitting in on the mid lane. He does have Gu behind him, and there is a chunk from Infectrix. He's only level 2. They're going for this, Rafa.
He has flash and heal, but the knockup is just so clean from Busio to be able to set it up. Potato trying to look for something back. Gu digging.
Turtle?
Ignite. No minion damage. It's enough. And Potato's able to trade one back, and now he's sporting double buffs.
Okay, so a little bit of a blunder coming out from 100 Thieves next. They are going to get double crabs on the Udyr, but still denying all that gold from the Xayah, I feel like is a good play, and I like the attempts coming out from 100 Thieves next. I think even though it does go a little bit sour for them in the end, it's the right play, right? And that's what we want to see out of these young guys, right? Making the right decisions on the map.
As you said before, DMK going to be able to pick up the double crab, which is not usually something you see in the Udyr J4 matchup, as he's more so focused on trying to get these ganks set up. But
yeah, he's real happy about that.
Yeah, that's kind of nice if you're a Jarvan.
That's real nice.
Yeah. Well, DMK now going to be able to walk towards his bottom side camps that have reset. And so this is actually pretty nicely timed for DMK to be able to potentially keep in tempo with this Udyr, because traditionally in this matchup, you get severely outpaced by the Man Bear Big.
Yeah, I actually am a little bit worried here for the side of Bay State because Victor just had the blow flash off screen. Good gank coming in from Busio in the mid lane. But you can see with the pathing of the resets, 100 Thieves next are going to be able to crash this wave and should be able to time it with the Dragon Spawn. So if they want to try and take that early Dragon with the Udyr, I think this is a really nice timing for them and a play that they might end up going for.
Serenok with no summoner spells will not have the easiest time of being able to walk up and help DMK contest for priority, but there might be a couple more things to take care of for 100 Thieves next before they walk down to this Mountain Dragon, as DMK finally, off of the respawn, has walked back. He's got tier 2 boots as well, so he's got a little bit more pip in his step as he's going to be able to clear some vision. But 100 Thieves next, their bot lane already rotating off as Invictrix is busy with the lane, so 100 Thieves next should be able to bully Bay State out of the river and should be able to secure this dragon easily.
They do have the early power. They might get harassed here, but it seems like DMK is just going to admit defeat and go take his topside camps. I like the play coming out from 100 Thieves. They timed this with the bot lane crash, as I was talking about. So good to see them, utilize the advantages they have around the map to try and make something happen and get an objective.
First dragon of the game, we'll go over to 100 Thieves next, and Victrix crashing this wave in, but without Admiral Potato there to hold his hand, he can't really get too much harass off, but it does give them an opportunity to clear out some of the vision in this river. As next objective of the game, we have Rift Herald spawning in a couple minutes here, and DMK actually is looking for potential dive onto Young. Potato's also here as well. They know something is happening here. Young gonna pop the ultimate. They get the knock up down. DMK taking the turret, and it's pretty damn clean from Bay State.
That was really risky from Young. You could see him kind of teasing the recall. He thought he was going to try and sit that one out, but good play from Bay State. Nice timing from Admirable Potato as well, who we saw him try and do this in the first game with the roam. It did get turned around to the top side, able to find a successful one mid there.
This does put Young down a summoner spell in that ignite, so he won't have as much kill pressure on the Serenok the next time he comes back from the recall. I'm curious to see at what point do Bay State try to look to push the tempo here, because we talked about it before. They have the meanings of a wombo combo, but I don't want to say their scaling is not as great as 100 Thieves next. It's just hard to contest Seraphine once she comes online in the later parts of the game, Gobi.
I think that 100 Thieves, they still want to try and get ahead and start to play sides, but potentially, with this bot lane, now that Xayah has some more levels under her, can do a much better job of contesting the wave, as it looks like Instinct is going for that Moonstone Renewer, so trying to look to buff up the rest of the carries on his team.
Yeah, we did have to mention that Instinct had to burn the heal, as Invectrix and Potato were able to get a pretty nice trade, almost threatening lethal onto Busio in that exchange. It will push them out of this lane, and now Potato and Victrix are going to get this shove out for free.
Oh, this is really good from Goo. Goo timed this blue buff transfer with the red buff spawn, and also Cozy was able to crash in the wave. Oh, they got cold feet. Oh, okay, they're just going to go for the Herald. I thought he was going to go for the red buff, but this is good from Goo, right? They know that the blue buff was just traded off, so they have the timer, and Cozy did crash this wave, and top lane priority is really the key to Rift Herald, so good timing from Goo. This is not a lot invested by the side of 100 Thieves, and we actually have the swap coming out from Bay State, so if Goo's able to sneak this one away before Bay State can get there, that's a really big tempo buff to 100 Thieves.
Quash trying to get a recall is going to get stopped by Cozy. That was rude, man. He's just trying to get a recall in, as Invictrix is already trying to walk
look at this.
the top side of the map. Oh.
Invictrix is basing. They got cold feet. They're just like, all right, see ya. I guess we're just going to go back bot. Quas doesn't have TP, so that's a big loss from Bay State. The fact that Xayah just wasted the last minute not getting anything.
Do you think it's because they had no idea the Rift Herald was being spawned?
Yes.
And they were prepping for the... Oh my gosh, that's so sad. They've essentially wasted like a solid minute and a half prepping for an objective that's already gone. Wow. Great play from Goo, just being able to, like you said before, just timing it with the blue buff transfer. And so now that's a lot of time that is just lost for Bay State. And once again, behind on tempo as 100 Thieves next. As we're approaching the 10-minute mark here in the game, there's no, insane gold lead on either side. It's relatively tied up, but for Bay State, we have to mention that, this is a team that wants to start accelerating the pace a bit. Jarvan is powerful for being able to set up terrain in these fights, but it's still not going to be the best unit stats-wise the later the game goes. Whereas compared to someone like Udyr, compared to someone like Seraphine, it's a lot of stuff to chew through once the Moonstone comes online.
I think the one concern that I do have for the side of 100 Thieves is that they are very heavy AD, especially since Seraphine is going for this build. I know that Renewer is going to buff everyone. It's going to feel really nice, and she will get some AP and magic damage later. But in the Malphite, it still is a concern, but I still like the fact that if they're able to get into side lanes with the Yone and the Aatrox, I think they're going to be able to still deal with those champions, but just a little bit of extra effectiveness for going for those early plated steel caps over on the side of Bay State. So I like the adaptation coming out from them as well, and one thing to worry about a little bit with 100 Thieves next is comp, but I'd say the fact that they're on even footing right now and they have the objective lead is still a good start for them.
Yeah, it's just been relatively quiet on the Rift for the past couple of minutes, as the next dragon will be spawning in 30 seconds. Goo is already pathing towards mid lane here, and bot lane, where Bay State does have priority, so they should be able to have the first crack at this second dragon spawning onto the field. As Quas does get a nice trade on the Cozy, should be able to keep him at bay in case they want to look for dragons.
At bay. Well played.
I didn't even... that wasn't even intentional.
You're so clever.
I surprised myself. Thanks, Cubby. Well, Goo is now on the top side of the map. Dragon is going to be spawning in 3 seconds, so Quas, yep. Unstoppable Force comes out, he gets out, and now there is an opportunity for this dragon to be secured by Bay State College.
I think that they're getting rid of this dragon to try and crack that and try and get some lane swaps going so they can maybe put their Seraphine mid. It's going to be a much better lane setup for the side of 100 next. That said, they can't dive this Malphite. He's way too tanky already. You see him still going for Cozy right now.
Yeah, even without an Unstoppable Force, he still got claps, but...
Oh,
well...
Okay, they can't dive.
You said they couldn't dive it, but, he didn't have Unstoppable Forces. He had to burn it as an escape tool, so...
There's a reason I'm casting Rafa.
Encore and Ferromancy comes out, but Invectrix dodges out with the Featherstorm, and a punish from Potato was almost had, but Busio did have to burn his flash in exchange, so just like that. A lot of important cooldowns have been burned by both of these bot laners here. Oh, you shouldn't have stepped up to that beat drop. Magnetstorm is still on the table. Invictrix taking a lot of damage on the backside of it. Ignite comes out. Going to take about half of Invictrix's health, but he will still live. But he did have to burn the flash as well, so another important cooldown that Bay State need to be careful for the next time they get into a skirmish.
We have a Gorge Drinker now finished up for Aatrox, thanks to the fact that he was able to get a lot of those plates, was the main beneficiary. I think importantly, I know that the Malphite did go down, but keeping that turret up and just keeping the lanes how they are, it seems still slightly beneficial to the side of Bay State. The fact that Victor is staying mid, doesn't have to side lane against something like Yone, where he can get punished in the longer lane. And you can still, Xayah is able to catch up now in CS because you do have the supportive mythic coming on through for Instinct, right? So I think that the fact that they were able to save that turret is still pretty good. Now they're looking for a play.
Bam! That's all I can say about that one. Flash, W, and Unstoppable Force from Quas. There's such a satisfying sound of the Malphite ultimate. It's just like a... my clap doesn't have as much bass to it as Quas's did. You know what? I wonder if we could get like a bass boosted Malphite ultimate as like a content piece. That would be incredible. Production team, you don't have to worry about this game, but just like off air, we'll definitely have to talk notes.
Yeah, I think the flash coming in from Admiral Potato really caught Young off guard, and that's the second roam that we've seen from the supported Bay State that's been very successful towards the mid lane, as I don't think Admiral Potato is going to be thrilled that the 3 kills are in his pockets on the Rakan, but still really good map movements coming out from the support of Bay State, and like the fact this Rakan is trying to get involved in other lanes.
Quas is now back into the top side of the map. He's doing his best to defend this turret from falling, but no Ignite. No Unstoppable Force, but he's trading pretty damn well into Cozy. So, Bramble and Play to Steel Caps is definitely a to try and fight against. So for Cozy, he's just trying to do his best. Wow, I am just in amaze that Quas is able to absorb this. But, okay, it's no longer fair. Goo is here, Bear Slap, Phoenix Stance. Quas has a lot of armor, Cubby, but Phoenix Stance does magic damage. So Goo is able to just kind of shred
That's
through him on
true.
that one and open up the first turret.
That's where the AP damage is. It's on the Udyr. How could I have forgotten that?
Maybe he should just build a Lich Bane, as we do see Dragonman Kim
It's actually
looking
not
for
terrible.
a dive on. Don't encourage me, Cubby.
Yeah. As we're gonna see the double flash wombo here.
Yes!
Did you get the base boost? Oh, we did get it. Oh man. Producer Joe always
our
loves this.
production team. Oh my god. Oh, we get to do it one more time.
He just wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting the base boost either, but it's pretty thick. Oh man. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we do have that tower falling, so we do have a trade for Bay State on the map. Still good map play coming out from them, at least trying to respond, right? And still punishing the fact that Seraphine doesn't lane as well outside those early levels as we might have a fight. Cozy is here.
Encore unfortunately misses from Instinct, as they were not quite in range for him to punish on. But Goo is making efficient use of his time on the Udyr, being able to pick up the second Rift Herald of the game. Mid turret does look juicy this time of the game state, so maybe this is where the next Rift Herald will be going, as he's going to pick up some farm on the top side of the map before rotating back over, potentially for this dragon that's about to spawn in 30 seconds.
Yeah, and I think that I want to see Seraphine go mid, as she is now rotating there, but the fact that they've set this Yone behind pretty far, it's going to be a lot harder for him to side lane. You can see that Leandri is already finished up here for Victor. He should be a little bit better off. If they bring the Udyr or the Aatrox, they can still definitely attack him in the side lane, but the fact that they've put this Yone behind, I think it is going to help them as the game continues, and I don't think 100 Thieves next can contest this dragon. So this should go over the side of Bay State. Just going to trade that dragon to get more gold on Cozy in the top lane.
Bay State will be picking up this second or third dragon of the game. It's their second one, as this is another Cloud Soul game. I don't know if, yeah, we've had both Cloud Soul games so far this series. Now, Bay State College, still somewhat even in gold, actually down about 1,000 now that I look at the numbers more in-depthly. Potato and Victrix here in the mid lane, but potentially getting ganked as Goo and Busio coming over the wall, as Potato decides to bail out and says, sorry, Victrix, I can't really help you out here, so Victrix having to pop the Feather Storm, and look at that, Rift Herald being spawned mid lane, and Cozy is here as well.
J4 and Victor were just spotted, so they should know where they're at, but this could be a collapse coming out through. Quas doesn't have TP, but I don't think they can finish off this mid lane turret, just given the fact that Bay State did respawn with 4 members.
They saved the mid-tier 1 turret from collapsing here, Cubby. So Bay State still get to have a turret to hold them, to protect them from the scary Ooga Booga monsters from 100 Thieves next, as Cozy rotating back over to Quas. What's up?
How'd you come up with that? I don't know. I like the animal fights. Yeah. Usually I'm ready for your curveballs. I wasn't ready for that one, so. But I do appreciate you keeping me on my toes here, as we do find ourselves in a little bit of a ball state. Both teams are trying to farm out 3 lanes. I want to see if 100 Thieves try and make any plays towards their side lanes. Part of the power of Seraphine is that you just can ditch her, right? She does have a lot of wave clear where she's okay on her own. And it looks like we do have Goo coming on up.
Hey,
Rock going down.
You know that thing where Goo, like, camps you and sets up a tent?
Uh-oh.
Well,
it's not Nasus, but the rock it's a repeat.
Yeah.
Play the hits.
Well, he doesn't have
We've seen this before.
He's already used Ultimate too. So, well, Bay State, what can you guys get done over the other side of the map? They've invested 2 members being able to take the mid-tier turret. So, you know what? Quas's life for opening up the map seems like a pretty damn good trade for Bay State. Thumbs up here.
Wrong game, but I feel like we need a My Life for Ire thing for Quas. It's kind of what we've seen so far in the last 2. Is getting some pressure on the sides, as Serenok, they're going to go on him. Here we go.
Oh, they flashed. They got the Encore down. They got the beat drop, and his beat's about to drop. But the shield from Potato is going to save Serenok from certain death. Busio might go down in the exchange. DMK does have the flash over the wall as he was doing his best to stall time. Potato flashing as well. Cozy and 100 Thieves next. We're looking for kills on the backside of the fight, but miraculously for Bay State, they don't give any.
I think importantly, 3 flashes are now down on the side of Bay State. So I know the 100 Thieves next, they do lose that play. A little bit of an overcommit into the good disengage that Bay State has in their comp, but this does open up things for them for this next dragon, right? Because those flashes will not be back for the next dragon that we have spawning now in 2 minutes. I think that this is an angle where 100 Thieves can try and take that fight. They still need to try and funnel this Yone, though, because Young still finds himself pretty far behind, and if he's able to get ahead, he just becomes a menace in the side lane. Once he gets some pen, might actually be able to deal with the Malphite and can definitely get through the victor. So I want to see 100 Thieves try and put a little bit of gold into him, try and get a fight around this dragon, given the fact that there are now a lot of flashes down, notably Invictrix and Admirable Potato.
Young already being answered by Serenok on the bottom side of the map. Young trying to get some trades down already, though. Serenok, I don't think Young can really fight this guy.
He needs help.
At this point of the game.
Yeah, like, Victor does well in the 1v1, but it's just like when you bring a second member, he really struggles. And the fact that they put Yone behind, I think it really opens up things for this Victor. So I actually like the fact that that was a big focus for Bay State in this early game.
Yeah.
I think it's really starting to pay dividends now on the map. But 100 Thieves, we are a minute out. They're going to try and keep this mid push in so they can control this river. And I think it's going to be really difficult for Bay State to try and find a fight. They do have 1 flank ward, and I think the Goo's going to sniff it out right now on that pink. Yeah, he does. So no flanks for Malphite TPs, and if they get a front to back and they funnel into Seraphine, they aren't able to get control of that river. It could be really difficult for Bay State. So curious to see if they are going to contest this dragon.
Yeah, Quas and Cozy both have their teleports available. The next dragon is coming up in about 50 seconds as Potato is going to use Invictrix and DMK as safety buddies to be able to establish some vision into the bottom side jungle, preparing for this.
Please make sure you
dragon.
have a buddy as you venture into the enemy jungle.
Yeah.
On this field trip,
man.
yeah.
Did you ever, like, in high school or have, like, they established walking buddies? Actually, you know what? We'll get to that later. DMK might get caught out. No, he's got the EQ flag and the swag. Off to safety. 100 Thieves next.
Goo?
Fighting for control. This is a very ambitious teleport coming in from Quas, just right in the face of the members, but Admiral Potato's on the backside trying to set up Instinct, but this encore
Seraphine.
and this beat drop is going to be huge, but it's a massive knockup from Bay State College. Shutdown comes in for Quas. DMK now on the backside of the fight, and Instinct has nowhere left to run. The Wombo looked so good from 100 Thieves, but we have to remember that Bay State are the people that brought the Wombo combo in the first place, and they will have dragon control.
Yeah, Bay State, they caught 3 in the Cataclysm, and you're going to see this Wombo they bring. I mean, this engage on the Instinct, I didn't like it that much because they can't really follow up, but 100 Thieves just get caught in the terrain choke of the Cataclysm. As, you know, you can see Instinct hits a beautiful ult here, but the combo coming in from the Charbon and from the Malphite, it's just too much for them to deal with, and the fact that this Victor is ahead at the moment, Serenok pumps out so much damage in that fight.
You know, the other big thing, too, is that Young wasn't really able to get much done in that fight. He's still operating only on a 1-item power spike. He's behind. He doesn't really do that much damage, and when he accessed Invictrix and Serenok, he barely tickled them. And so with that terrain, this is where, you know, the Jarvan pick, you know, comes back into fruition from what you were leading on, is that Cataclysm is able to separate the backline, the other members of 100 Thieves from being able to have access to Invictrix and Serenok, and so they're just able to pump out damage to all the poor melees that are trapped in that death cage. And Bay State, just like that, now have not a huge gold lead, but they are definitely now in the lead now.
I think something else that's like really nice for Bay State is just given the fact that they are going up against a Moonstone where they don't have access to one. So the fact that they are able to put in so much upfront damage in these fights, I think really helps them with their comp. That was ambitious. Going to sneak out, but I want to see 100 Thieves next trying to attack this Victor. He still has flash, he still has summons, but I think that if they're able to put members into that side of the map, they might be able to get something done. So we do see skirmishing here. DMK should be just fine, but they need to get on Victor. They need to punish him in this long lane.
Yeah, the more that we see, I believe, Young grouping with the team, Serenok is getting a lot of alone time in the bottom side, and at this point, Quas is like,
interesting.
Yeah, this is not new. Well, all right, Quas. How much time can you stall?
We're gonna get a team
we're
fight.
actually getting a collapse. 100 Thieves next might have to fight their way out of this one. Teleport is also coming in from Serenok. He's here. Chaos Storm is wreaking havoc on, or
Watch
not
out
quite
for
yet.
Serenok.
It's just the gravity field. Cozy taking a lot of damage on the backside against the members of Bay State College, but 100 Thieves next. They're actually the ones coming out on top of this one. They've already burned through the Lovers duo bottom lane, and Serenok cannot impact the fight enough in their favor, and this actually opens up Baron.
I think we really saw the power of Moonstone coming through there, right? The fact that this is an elongated fight, the fact that they chip out Quas once again. He goes on to Instinct, but there's no follow-up, and he's too far back where they can't really do anything, and Busio buys so much time on the Rel. They're just able to get front to back. Cozy buys time as well. That's a great ult coming in from Instinct. Jeez, and 100 Thieves, they're able to get a little bit more of an elongated fight. They're able to utilize the healing from Moonstone, take out members one by one. Now they find themselves back in control, Rafa, with now a Baron buff in their pocket. So good play from 100 Thieves next. And really surprised that Bay State actually opted in for that fight, considering they could have just went to the side lane, funneled more gold on the Victor. Would have been just fine. Yeah.
They burned Serenok's teleport thinking that they were going to get a really awesome collapse here onto Quas, and just betting on the fact that he is extremely tanky and there's not that much magic damage on the side of 100 Thieves next, that he would have lived long enough to be able to look for a counter gauge with the Unstoppable Force, but they severely overestimated their ability to win that fight. And also, you know, Cozy being able to isolate Invictrix was completely massive, as that is half your damage gone from Bay State College.
Quas is behind. Look out for Quas.
Oh,
he has an angle. They haven't seen him yet. They might look for an engaged. Busio's in a little bit of an awkward spot. Is he able to get on out?
And Encore comes out. It's going to buy some time. Charms up one,
Young.
but Busio will definitely go down. Young went into the back line trying to look for something with that ultimate, but not going to be able to help Goo out, as he is now stuck in that death cage of the Cataclysm and the gravity field combo there from Bay State College. With 4 members on their side pushing into the mid turret, Cozy has a flank as well if he wants to do something. He has World Ender, but Young and Instinct are just going to succeed this turret.
That was a nice fight coming out from Bay State. Once again, if they're able to pick off a few members and get all that upfront damage they have in their comp down, it's really good for them. But Quas, he had to burn his ult.
Unstoppable Force comes out, and they're able to counter-engage. They do lose Quas, but DMK, can he buy enough time for Serenok and Invictus to do something? No, Cozy! 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 What are you doing, man? You are so freaking good. I can't even just grab at words. Oh my god, what?
The dance pan as well. Okay, we're going to go back to the start. So Busio, he does get caught a little bit with his pants down. You can see 100 Thieves are split, but this is really good play from Young to get a pick. Goo, he gets stuck in the Cataclysm, but I'm more interested to see Cozy turn the rest of this fight around. This guy, I believe he originally comes from Korea. He's an 18-year-old. He was an Akali one-trick. He loves to play carries, and man, do we see him show up big in this fight.
This is the power of Seraphine, by the way. I mean, Cozy coming up huge in this fight, being able to land all the sweet spots of the Darkened Blade onto the carries, but you cannot tell me that the healing from the Gore Drinker plus the World Ender plus Seraphine, just in general with Moonstone, was not also just as important in that fight for 100 Thieves next there.
Oh, I mean, imperative for Cozy to turn that one, but I'll also give him the nod. He played that fight really well on Aatrox. You mentioned landing those sweet spots. That was sweet to watch as he was able to dance through that fight. Take down all the members of Bay State in the 3v4. Hey, I've been working on my play-by-play skills here and there. It helps overall. That said, I mean, 100 Thieves, they've really turned this game around. Bay State, they were finding good fights throughout the mid-game. They were, you know, getting all that upfront damage down to pick off members of 100 Thieves and not deal with the Moonstone comp, but now 100 Thieves, they found 2 really favorable fights. They take that dragon, they buy themselves some more time, and this scaling with the Yone and the Seraphine, he now has an Infinity Edge. He's going to be pumping out damage, trying to blow up more members.
Well, I know we normally don't talk about items a lot, but Chemtech Putrefier was picked up by Potato, so if he's able to shield the right targets, you know, Invictrix and Serenok, they're going to be able to apply some Grievous Wounds, so we'll have to see how well that impacts and sways the fight, because
I love that buy.
Was not... Yeah, I bet Smax is raving about the buy as well. As
we'll talk about it with him in between these sets, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Gonna have to see. Cozy is a little bit far up, and they do have DMK lying in wait. I don't know if they're going to go for this. We also see a play in the mid lane. Goo going in the bear stance here.
Cozy has already popped the World Ender, but against Quas alone...
This looks fun.
Wait, he's actually kind of... Why are you taking turret shots? I guess setting up for Serenok here. Does he have enough damage? Oh, okay. DMK is also here. All right, all right. Well, you know what? Quas had no fear. They invested 3 members on this topside push, however, so 100 Thieves next do have an opening to be able to look for Inhibitor turret and Inhibitor as well. Young already expending the ultimate just to push Invictrix and Admiral Potato off. Recalls are coming in for Bay State College.
Lost
They should
Serenok,
be
they both
here
have
soon.
TP. They both have TP. Let's see if they pull the trigger and they try and go for this big flank play. 100 Thieves, they need to exit as a team. Doesn't look like they're going to pull the trigger. Instead, they're just going to trade for top lane gold on the Victor.
Could have been scary. And Serenok, notice how he did have the recall, but now knowing that 100 Thieves next have backed off, he's going to get some free time to be able to push in another wave into this second tier turret.
Yeah, I think if Quas had his ultimate there, he might have looked for it, but instead, he was hiding that stone plate in the top lane, Rafa, so that's how he was able to survive that dive with the ultimate. It was all calculated coming out from the top laner here of Bay State. The most veteran member, as you saw in the intro video, obviously going back to Season 3 with Curse and Team Liquid in Season 4, and now on to Bay State after a stint with Frostfire as well, who were top 8 in SGC. Quas definitely still trying to make a name for himself, and he's been caught out a little bit in the side lane, but still, you know, one of the bigger carries that we have here for the side of Bay State, and needs to step up with some of those unstoppable forces. They want to turn this game around back into their favor.
Yeah, he's definitely very tanky. It just needs to be able to...
I mean, we heard the base drop.
Yeah. Don't encourage production again. They'll do it again. And I don't know if I'm gonna really. I did, but that was a joke. And also the fact that like I wasn't expecting for them to get the turnaround so soon, right? But regarding Bay State College, Serenok does have his third item completed as well as Invictrix. Baron is up on the table. 100 Thieves next are already the first ones to the punch in terms of controlling vision around this area. Potato trying to use his sweeper to be able to control some as well. They have snuck into this bush. I don't know if maybe Goo might have seen it. Busio and Instinct are kind of pushing up. They're going to look for Cataclysm potentially as DMK goes in for the slag flag, but it's not up. Oh, Goo, buddy, Goo. Do you just want to stand there? Cataclysm is there. There's no flash on this either. He took Ghost in the first place of the game to start, by the way. And Vectrex is able to come in, but Cozy does have a flank. Young also has a flank. They're looking onto the backside of the fight. Cozy does have access to the backline. Serenok has the flash away. Does Cozy have enough moves to be able to get up? But the crowd control from Bay State might be enough. But Cozy does get Serenok down. That is both of the carries for Bay State gone. And Quash just can't do a damn thing. This Baron, despite losing Goo, should still be on the table for 100 Thieves next.
Busio's hunting. He's trying to find Jarvan. I don't think that's those going to allow for him to follow up, but they are going to take down the inhibitor. Dragon also spawning here in 40 seconds. I think 100 Thieves, they want to get that on their exit, try and deny that soul over to the side of Bay State. But Rafa, both carries are down. 100 Thieves, they're positioning. They might want the game here. They might try and go for the end.
DMK and Potato are going to have to rise to the top and be able to find a miracle out of this as, you know what? We built all that up for nothing.
TPs. They have TPs.
Next say.
Yeah. They have TPs. Goo, he's pretty tanky on the Udyr, so he's going to sit here and take a bunch of damage. Once again, look at this engage from Busio. I mean, he's been fantastic on this rel. I know that the ultimate falls just short from Instinct, but then Cozy, man, there's way too much healing. He's just getting right in the mix. Way too much damage as well, just wreaking havoc in these fights as the World Ender and also Young. He finally hit that IE power spike. He's starting to do a lot of damage as well.
I don't think Serenok was ready for that Darkened Blade.
I don't think we were ready for either.
That. I definitely wasn't. Well, Dragon was taken by 100 Thieves next, but Bay State are trying to pull a Hail Mary, and they get the Baron now. Just get the hell out of there before 100 Thieves next look for the collapse.
Busio wants it.
He's on bear stance right now. He's looking for something. Goo is kind of isolated, but DMK just wants to be able to run through him and get the hell out.
They
Bay
want
State
this.
College should be able to walk away safely. DMK is just probably going to give his life for it. He does have Cataclysm if he can just buy some time for the terrain. Admiral Potato, they're going to look for the choke point here. Quas has a beautiful knockup from Young is going to solve some time. 100 Thieves next, still haven't won the fight quite yet. Magnastorm is enough for more crowd control to be able to stall the members of Bay State College. But Instinct looking for the double, looking for the triple. No, that's going to be Cozy taking away the quadra as they lead the charge. Bay State College thought they had an opportunity to be able to come back, but 100 Thieves next say no. We still want to run the gauntlet and cup, and we want to make sure we make an appearance at Tier 1 as they knock out Bay State College.
100 Thieves next. They came into this match. They were a young team, but we were talking to them, and they're like, we're playing better than this, than what we've showed. This is our chance to prove ourselves, and man, with those two games, a statement coming out from the young team, the young LCS affiliated roster, they're moving on. They're in the Tier 1s.